welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Melina, and today I want to talk about books I want to finish before the end of the year. So let's jump into it. So the first book I want to talk about is Divine Rivals. This book has been so hyped up on everything, everywhere, and it is a duology, and I think it's supposed to be a romance with a magical element. I would probably compare it to Ashley Poston before reading this. I don't really know. If I go into a book with certain expectations, I tend to find myself more disappointed than if I go into it blind and just enjoy the journey for what it is. And so I have this one. It's a 2-book series, so I hope to finish this one soon. Maybe I'll add this one into November. The next book I want to talk about is the Shepherd King duology, the first book being One Dark Window. My friend from bookstagram, Megan, she has hyped this book series so much, and she's telling me like how amazing it is, and I have a feeling that I'm gonna love it because we tend to have similar taste in fantasy, especially YA fantasy, so I'm really excited to read this one. I'm thinking of trying to start this one probably also in November, and I'll explain what I'm gonna read next month, and that's why I'm not putting too much on my October TBR, but I'm really excited to start this one. In terms of really popular books that I see all over the internet that everyone rates 5 stars, it is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. I got this as a book of the month book, and I don't know what genre this is considered. I think it is a YA literary fiction or a historical fiction. I'm not entirely sure, to be completely honest, but I do know, that change in the lighting. I do know that people rate it really highly, and it is a book that I always like to put a little bit of variation in genres throughout every month just to stop me from getting into book slumps. So this, I think, will be a good palate cleanser when I've already mentioned 2 fantasy series or duologies. So this is on my list to finish for the year. The next book series that I'm going to talk about is a romance, and I'm not expecting myself to finish this series by the end of the year, but I do want to at least start it. I think I want to read at least the first book, and that is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I have heard so many good things about this. I heard that it's perfect slow burn, it's really addicting, it is quick to get through, it's a little Wattpad-y, which I don't mind. I know people give a lot of hate to Wattpad books, but I just feel like Wattpad means that it's very easy writing, but the Wattpad's not a bad thing, so I'm hoping to start this series. This was gifted to me by Sloan. Thank you, Sloan, for gifting me this book, and I can't wait to start it. Now, I think I started the series last fall, and I don't know why it's been taking me so long to continue. I feel like these books just break me, and so I just always need a long mental break between each book, and that is the 3rd Magnolia Parks book. I did read the first Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates book, and they were both so good and both mentally destroyed me in different ways, and so I am excited to get into this, but I am also very nervous because I don't know where this is going to lead characters. It is a very chunky one, and I know I zoomed through her books so quickly, but I'm still so nervous. I think I'll probably start this one very soon. If you've been following my channel for any time at all, you do know that I finished the Carval trilogy in, was it this month in September, or was it August? I don't even remember, to be completely honest. I think I did finish it in September. And so if you've been following me for any time at all, you would also know that now I want to start the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. It is also by Stephanie Garber. This book follows Evangeline and Jax is a character from the Carval trilogy, so it's very cool to see his spin-off series, which I guess it follows his story a little more after what happens throughout the Carval series. I don't know much about this series. I see most people tend to love it. Some people are a little indifferent, but I think I'm personally going to love it. I think Stephanie Garber has a very fun, whimsical way of writing, and especially writing fantasy, because their world is just so unique and interesting and just very different from most magic systems that I've read. So I'm really excited to get back into the world. So for my final physical book, I do have a few books that I want to read that I don't actually own, but I will talk about them later. The last physical book is Kingdom of Ash. I don't know why, but it takes me so long to finish a series, especially a series as special as Throne of Glass. I feel like I get so connected to the characters. I just don't want their world or them to end in my life. I just feel so attached. They're literally just real people, and I have Like, you know, I followed them through this long journey, and these characters are so well developed, and I'm so attached. The thought of it ending in 1,000 pages is just heart-wrenching, and 1,000 pages is a little scary. I don't think it's exactly 1,000. It's 983. And I did do the tandem read, which I think was about 1,300 pages combined, but I'm just not ready for it to end, and so it's taken me a long time to pick this up. But this is going to be a book that I read in October, which is why I keep pushing everything to November, because this one I think is going to take a lot out of me. But I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm just going to cry and sob so much, but I'm ready. I'm ready to figure out how their stories conclude. Now for either books that have not been released yet, or books that I just don't own, and I have to either get a Kindle version or I'll buy a paperback sometime before the year ends. The first book I want to talk about is Power Play by Chelsea Curto. I'm going to put it right here. I don't know if she has a cover yet released or not, but if not, I'll just put whatever she has right now. It is book 2 of her DC Stars series. The thought of going back into the world where my favorite hockey romance is, I am so excited. The first book is Face Off, which I'll put right here. I own it too, but I don't feel like going to my shelves right now. The thought of seeing people from either Love Through a Lens series or the first book Face Off, seeing Maverick and Emmy and who knows who else. I am so excited. It gets me so excited. I love all of the hockey players. I have fallen in love with the football players. I just love all the players in all of her series. Her characters are just so good. I already went on a whole rant in my last video, but this book is supposed to follow Liam and Piper. Liam being, I think, the goalkeeper, and Piper being in broadcast media, like she is a newscaster or an interviewer for the players, and I don't know, it looks so good from the teasers that she's given out, and I just think she's going to do she does it justice. All of her books are so good, so it's always anticipated when a favorite author of yours comes out with a new read, so I can't wait. I am so excited for it to come out. Please read it if you have not even checked her out ever. The next book should be no surprise to you, but is Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. I received an ARC for this book, and I'm so excited. I think it's going to be the next Kindle book that I read. I always read an ebook, a paperback, and an audiobook, that's how I separate my books, and so I think it's gonna be the next one, and I am so excited to go back to Wes and Liz. They are the perfect YA couple. They are one of my favorite romances, especially in the YA genre of all time. It gives me all the feels. It is literally like a rom-com. It is so good. It is so good, and she has this way of creating the perfect soundtrack for a book series. I don't know how she does it. It's so good. I just don't know. I'm a little nervous because obviously you don't want your favorite characters to have a conflict, and every book has some sort of conflict, so I hope she does them justice, because after the 5-star read, almost maybe if it could be a 6-star read, I would give it a 6-star. I don't know. I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited. So that is a book that I'm definitely going to read in October for sure, or end of September or October. We'll see. The next book I'm going to talk about is Manacled by Sen Lin Yu. She is a fan writer, I guess. I don't know how else to explain her. It is a Draco Malfoy / Hermione fan fiction romance. I think it's supposed to be a spin-off of like The Handmaid's Tales, kind of, sort of. It is supposed to be dark. It's supposed to be romantic. It's supposed to be addicting. It is really long. You could read it on AO3, I think is what the website is called, and it is time. I am ready to get back into the Harry Potter world, and this seems like the perfect way to do it. I have a long list of Hermione fanfiction, and I just feel like this is the perfect one to start. Everyone rates this one so highly, so it is time. I will put a link down below on where you could read the fanfiction. I highly recommend it though. I haven't even read it yet, and I already know I'm going to be obsessed. The next book that I'm going to talk about is The Addicted to You, or Addicted Calloway Sisters, or whatever the series is called. This book has been all over the internet as like a toxic, addicting romance series. The reason I've stayed away from it for so long is because people tend to rate the first 2 books or 3 books really low, and they're also like 12 books. It's not like one book. It's not like it's 1 book or 2 books or 3. It's a very long series, because I think there's a spin-off series, the original series, but they're all connected, and so yeah, this is another series where I don't necessarily want to finish the series before the end of the year, but I think I want to read the first book. I hope it's not too long and I could just like sprinkle it in between my fantasies and just go back. If you've read any of these, please let me know, because I don't want to like add this to my end of the year TBR and it's just terrible. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll love it. Who knows? The final book that I'm going to talk about today, it is the Beartown trilogy. I've heard so many good things about that series. I think I would consider it a literary fiction. I don't even know really what it's about other than a town and their love for hockey, I believe. I know it's like multiple POV, and that's it. I literally go in blind, as you can see. I know very little about a lot of these books. I just know maybe kind of like the genre-esque, but I'm ready. I heard good things about it. I am ready for a 5-star read, as I always am. I'm always willing to try any of these books and see what sticks, what doesn't. So I definitely want to start that series as well. Since I finished already a few series recently. I recently finished, like I said, Carvel, and I also finished A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm ready to introduce new series, or continue a series, aka Magnolia Parks, honestly. Yep, and finish, Down of Glass too. So I'm gonna finish another series. I just finished 2 and I'm ready to continue or introduce new ones to my TBR. So yeah, those are the books I really want to finish by the end of the year. I don't know if it's going to be something I can do, but I'm going to really try, and I'm just going to add them into my TBR and really sprinkle in a lot of these books so I can just get through them. I'm very excited about all of these too. It's not like I'm adding books that I really don't care about. They're all books that are just going to be, I feel like they're going to be highly anticipated or just all very highly rated, with the exception of 1 or 2. Like, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about the Addicted to You or Addicted Calloway series. I think that is my biggest book where I'm very on the fence, but I'm also very excited to see where it goes. But yeah, so what are you reading, or what are you trying to read before the year ends? Please let me know down below. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, all of the things, because it does make me really happy. And thank you for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. I love chatting books. And until the next time, guys, bye.